Hey guys, I am back from seeing Rogue One, a Star Wars story, and boy was it good. Was it better than Episode 7? I know most of you are probably going to ask. I would say it is. Possibly even better in the sense that while it is a Star Wars film, obviously it feels just ever so slightly almost not Star Wars in the sense that it's mostly 100% new characters. There are some wonderful little cameos and nods to the past, just like there was in Episode 7, but maybe not so many of them. It's still definitely a Star Wars film, but because of the sort of military aspect of it being about the rebels, like pretty much exclusively, it does have a different overall feel to it, but I think it adds wonderfully to the story, and the director and everybody involved in the production of said film. Again, like I said for Episode 7, thank you. You did such a good job, not just for a moviegoer, but a Star Wars fan. They couldn't have, I don't think there's anything really they could have done any better, apart from maybe show a certain few individuals a little bit more, because it would have been great. Obviously, spoiler free, I can't say too much other than that there is definitely cameos. I'm not going to say who they are, but you'll be surprised for some of them, because they're cameos you wouldn't expect. Like, I was stunned at first for a certain cameo. I was like, oh, they're not going to show this person. They're just going to do like the old reflection and, not really show the actor or anything. And then they revealed them, and it was like, holy shit, I didn't think they would have the balls to do something like that. And it was just fantastic, so surprising, lots of nods and references, small and big ones. And as I say, some of the cameos, it's just totally unexpected. I think they knew that we'd be expecting cameos from the past and little references and nods. And there were, I guess you would call the obvious ones in there as well. And just some of them were so like, wow, as if you would think of including that. That's just crazy. There's a lot of fan service there that isn't as obvious as the things that they referenced in Episode 7. So what they did, brilliant. The CGI of the film, really good. Lots of practical effects in there as well, like Episode 7. So they've done well to keep it going without doing what George Lucas obviously went and did, and then just CGI'd like almost everything. Not literally everything, but you know what the prequels were like. They're good films in their own right, but there was just way too much almost cartoonified version of Star Wars going on there compared to the originals and these now sequels and this standalone story. I would love to see more of these standalone stories if they're done as half as good as this. Like, there's many other stories they could tell, like maybe something during the Clone Wars. Obviously, we've already had the Clone Wars series, but maybe a big live action feature film would be great. These Han Solo spin-offs could be as good as this, if not better. And obviously, if they go ahead and do the Obi-Wan Kenobi films, which are always rumored about, then everyone seems to want to do them, but nothing's concrete yet, it would be really good. So I've been rambling for like nearly 4 minutes now. The pacing of the film, very good. No complaints there. Lots of little comedy elements in there, as we love in Star Wars. Just not rip-roaring or Fast and Furious, because it's not a comedy, really, is it? After all, but there's lots of good comic relief. There's no Jar Jar Binks in here. There's just lots of really good comedy and nicely spread out. So there's a bit of everything for everyone. Literally, the only downside to the film is, even though it's a standalone one, if you've not watched any of the other Star Wars films, it doesn't really work on its own, I don't think. I mean, my girlfriend has seen all the films once, and she was confused because if you've not watched them many times, things like, who's firing these color lasers and who's flying these ships and who's flying those ships, it got quite confusing for her who the bad guys were. Every now and again, she was like, is that a good guy ship or a bad guy? Oh, it's a great. Okay. So it doesn't really work on its own, I don't think. Obviously, they weren't really going for that. It's to do with Star Wars, but to call it a standalone film, I don't think it would work if you don't know anything, is the point I'm trying to make there as I ramble on. What else to cover? Obviously, there were the usual people that were worried about politicized statements and having a strong female character in the film, and those people could go fuck themselves. It was a really good film, and there's nothing... I don't see why people tend to have a problem with female leads. Like, obviously, it's not many people, but it's a minority of people, and I suppose they love it being addressed, but I'm addressing it by telling them to fuck off. It was a great film. Felicity Jones is fantastic, and it's not just about her and her character. There is obviously a lot more going on. The ending of the film was a big surprise. The pacing of the film at the end just suddenly got completely hectic in a good way, and so much going on. Obviously, again, I can't tell you any more than that because this is the spoiler-free edition, and I'm going to work on a proper sort of full-on review where I'll discuss everything for those that are interested. The other things about the ending I will say is that it's unexpected. It's not what you think's going to happen. Obviously, you kind of know what's going to happen because obviously it's set in between episodes 3 and 4. So you know how it's going to have to finish, kind of like in episode 3, how we knew that Anakin and Obi-Wan, neither of them could die, but it was still an intense battle. But we knew what was going to happen. This throws a massive curveball in there, and it's like, oh, shit, I didn't think that was going to happen. And it's stunning. Even as soon as the film finished, everyone was like, wow, that's fucking amazing. Didn't see that coming. That was great. I loved how they did this, that, the other. It's like, everybody was so pleased afterwards. So yeah, guys, if you've not gone to see it tonight and you're going to go see it soon, you're in for a treat. And I hope you all enjoy it. And thanks for listening to me ramble on. And I'll see you guys in a gaming video real soon. And obviously, the full-on review. Thanks for watching.